Hello, you wonderful people. Today we're going to be talking about identifying terms. And uh, in this lesson, you guys are going to learn how to recognize that the minus sign and the plus negative are equivalent. Equivalent means basically equal to each other, or it means that they are the same. Okay, zoom back in. You guys are also going to learn to identify and explain this thing right here called the commutative property of addition. So you should be able to know what that is to identify it, um, and be able to explain what it is. Okay? And then you're also going to be able to identify this thing called terms. And this is the main thing that we're doing today in this lesson. You're going to learn how to identify terms in expressions and equations. So an expression is something with no equal sign. That's an expression. And then along those lines, an equation is just something that has an equal sign. So regardless of whether or not there is an equal sign or not an equal sign, you should be able to look at it and figure out what are the terms in it. Okay? So these are the things that we're learning today in this lesson. All right, so let's get started. So first I want you to take a second and answer that right there. So for A, yes or no, are they equal? For B, yes or no, are they equal? Okay. And so you should have put here, so 7 minus 3, that would be a 3. And then 7 plus negative 4, that's also 3. That's like if you have $7, this positive 7, so you have $7, and then you basically acquire or you get negative 4. And if this is you having money, this is a negative for me. The way I think about it is that you owe somebody money. So if you owe somebody $4 and you have $7, then after you pay them off, you'll have 3. This over here is 3. Here's negative 7, so you owe somebody $7. And here's positive 4, you have $4. Well, you can't completely pay them off. So you, even after you give them all your money, you still owe them $3. So yes, this is the same. No, that one is not. Okay, and so I want us to sort of look at this one that was a yes. So we know that 7 minus 4 is the same as 7 plus negative 4. Is like, I don't know, like 10 minus 6 the same as 10 plus negative 6? Yes or no? Okay. How about is negative 8 minus 2? Is that the same as negative 8 plus negative 2? Okay. And so the only difference between that side on the left and this side on the right is this plus sign. So to go from here to here, they're the same except there was a plus sign that was placed in front of the minus. The minus just became plus negative. The minus sign became plus negative. The minus sign there became plus negative. So basically the conclusion I was trying to get from this do now was, so subtraction is the same as adding a negative. Or if we want to write this in symbols, I think many of you know the word the same. We can change that to equal. So subtraction is the same as adding a negative. So anytime you see a subtraction, you can always just change into plus negative, or if you see a plus negative, you can always just change into subtraction. Okay. So let's continue. Of these right here, pause the video and try these out. Which of these are equal? Okay, you should have said, yes, this one is equal. This one is not equal, B. This one right here is equal. And this one over here is also equal. This is 8 and 8. 5 minus 3 is positive 2. 3 minus 5, this would be negative. If you have $3 and someone takes away 5 from you, you have no more money. In fact, you still owe them $2. Over here, this right here is if you have $5 and you owe somebody $3, that would become 2. Here you owe somebody $3 and you have $5, well, you still have $2 after you pay them off. Owe somebody 5, you have $3, well, you still owe them 2. You have $3, you owe somebody 5, you still owe them $2. Okay, so let's look at all the ones that are equal. So looking at everything except for that one. Okay. What do you notice? Okay. Like these two are just the same two things, just they switched position. They went from like that to like that. Okay. Same thing here. The 5 and negative 3 just switch positions. The negative 5 and 3 just switch positions. And the ability to just switch positions whenever you have a plus sign. So if you have a plus sign here, so you have a plus sign, the ability to just switch this one and that one, those switch places, that's called the commutative property of addition. So here you had a plus sign and this 5 and -3 just switch positions. This -5 and +3, there's a plus sign in the middle, and we just switch the positions. So once again, yeah, that is the commutative property of addition. Okay. Let's write a sort of a definition for the commutative property of addition. So the most typical is just that if you have something A plus something B, then it's equal to just the two switched. And this is the commutative property of addition because it only works for addition. It does not work here when there's a subtraction in the middle. So if there's subtraction in the middle, you can't just switch their order like this. Or if you switch the order, they're no longer equal. They're no longer the same thing. All right. So moving on. So that was our first objective. Recognizing that minus and plus negative are the same. Then we talked about what the commutative property of addition is. Moving on, let's talk about terms. Now here we have two different definitions. One is just, uses more words than the other. Okay, so let's talk about both of them. So the word we're talking about is terms. Okay, this is definition 1. It's the chunks. This means pieces. So a term is the chunks in an expression that can be swapped, where you can change their places using the commutative property of addition. It says, note here, each side of the equal sign is looked at or evaluated separately. Now, there's a lot of words. Another way of thinking about it is a term is just the chunks or pieces that are separated by a plus or equal sign, but that is not inside a parentheses. And I've noticed many students end up liking that second definition more. It's clearer for them. So I'm going to use that definition when I'm talking about terms. But both definitions are great. So basically, if you can switch them using the commutative property of addition, it's a term. Each one of those pieces are a term. All right. So let's use our definition number 2. So once again, we're talking about terms are separated by plus and equal signs when they're not inside the parentheses. So let's look at this one right here. So here we have a plus sign. It is not inside parentheses. So that plus sign, and there's no other plus signs anywhere here. There's no other equal signs, so that's our only one. So that will separate this and this. So here we have two terms. 6 is the first term. The second term is 4 times 2. here, this 10 minus 3 can be written as 10 plus negative 3. We've already talked about the fact that these two things are equal to each other, or they're equivalent. So there is this plus sign right here. There's a plus sign right in front of that minus. So therefore, that separates it into this is a term, and then this negative 3 is a term. Because this and this are equal, and this 10 is a term, and that negative 3 is a term. Sometimes students will get confused in an example like this. They'll say the term is 10 minus, and then the second term is just a 3, but that minus or that negative goes with this 3. Let's do one more example. So, and here there's no equal sign, so no need to point that out. Let's do this one. So, here there's a plus sign right there. There is an equal sign right there. And there is a plus sign right there. Because you can always write any subtraction as plus negative. And there's no, this, and this are not inside of parentheses, so they all separate terms. So your 5 is a term, your 3 is a term, your 7 is a term, and this negative 6 is a term. So you have 4 terms there. Okay. All right. So for this one, I want you guys to try it. So pause the video right here. And for each one of these, first copy it into your notes. And then identify what are the terms by drawing a little hat like that over each one of the terms. All right. So let's do these together. And we're doing this together, but make sure you try this before we actually do it together. Because you learn best by actually doing, not just sitting there and watching me do it. So here, like here we had, on this side we had 2 terms. Here we had 2 terms as well. Here we had 4 terms. In this first problem, A, how many terms do we have? We have 4 terms here. I see a subtraction, so I know that there is a plus right there. I see a plus sign here. Neither one of these are inside of parentheses. And then I see an equal sign here. So those 3 separate this into 4 terms. Term number 1 is 14x squared. Term number 2 is negative 3x. Term number 3 is 7. The next term is 10. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. Okay, let's try the next one. How many terms are here in B? B has, let's look, you have an equal sign right here. You have a plus sign right here. Now here, there is a plus sign in front of this. I'm going to write it in a different color. There is a plus sign right here in front of the -4. But this plus right here does not separate terms because it's inside of parentheses. And it is only pluses or equal signs that are not inside of parentheses that will separate terms. Finally, you have a plus sign right there. So this plus sign, that plus sign are not inside parentheses, so they separate terms. So once again here, you have 4 terms. -8, 9x. Then you have 5 times parentheses 2x minus 4. And our last term is -7. Final question. How many terms do we have here in C? We have 2 terms. There is a plus right there. And that plus sign right there will separate -14x and -20 into 2 terms. I'm going to have you copy these 3 problems here down. And once again, I'm just going to ask you to identify each term by drawing a hat over each term. So pause. When you are, let's go over this. So here, let's go over these. I'm going to do it a little quicker. Here, this is a term, that's a term, -12x, 6x, -4. We have no parentheses here, so we don't have to worry about parentheses. You see a plus here. There's a plus in front of the minus sign. There's your equal sign here, and there's a plus right there. Next one. This plus sign and this plus sign are outside of the parentheses. There's no subtraction here either, and no equal signs. So it's just those plus signs that are separating. So you have -14, 2 times -x plus 3, and +7 are your terms. Last one. There is a plus sign right there in front of that subtraction. Here's your equal sign. On this side, there is no plus signs that are outside the parentheses. It's basically all parentheses. This is 3 multiply this parentheses, multiply this parentheses. So on this whole side over here, this is multiplication, or those parentheses that are being multiplied. So even though this is super long, there's actually only 3 terms. Negative parentheses x minus 4, and then this plus sign right here separates it. So then negative 2 is its own term. And then this whole thing on the right is a term. All right. For homework, not homework, to try right now, so I want you for copy those 6 and then identify the terms. Pause right here while you do that. Okay. And now try these over here. All right, you wonderful people. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I shall talk to you later.